Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Cardboard Conversations. We've got we're patless, not to be confused with pantless.
Well,
We got
some of us are both.
true. It's just you gotta go to the members only stream for the pantless streams though. Um,
BU is what I say there. Unfortunately, Pat's not feeling so
hey,
great tonight, folks. So give him a little slack. We all get under the weather from time to time. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
Wednesday was my day. Man, when I was going to sleep on Wednesday, I don't even know exactly what it was. It was weird. I slept maybe too much, I guess. And the last couple hours of just before I was going to sleep, I just had this pounding migraine, and I was like, man, if I wake up like this is gonna suck. But luckily, sleeping it off was good.
well, what a
So
lot of people aren't giving. I noticed there's a lot of people that are feeling unwell within the past few days, and a lot of people aren't giving a nod towards the fact that the weather has fallen about as precipitously as the stock market in the last few days. Temperature has dropped at least a good 20 degrees, and when that happens, lots of different things happen. Different vegetation out there stirs around and falls and whatnot, and the temperature changes, the moisture content in the air changes, so sinuses get affected. That you can't drain properly. So yeah, the change in temperature absolutely does have an impact on people's health. So I think that that's probably playing a large part of it. Plus, there's a new COVID strain out there.
of
Do we
course
get
there is.
demonetized for that? Are we allowed? Is that a no word? Did I just say a naughty word?
I don't know.
I never avoid it, so whatever. But on more positive notes, confirmation. I really said that very weird, but we have confirmation. We have confirmation. I missed a vowel or two in there. There we
Yeah,
have it, folks.
we got turtle power, which we actually knew last week that we were. I forgot
Didn't
to
know.
mention on the show, but I saw the same thing that we had posted. Bob had posted on our chat that they had it was sort of confirmed that it was going to be TMNT. I forgot to mention it on the stream. I know I saw the image that he posted the day before, but nothing was confirmed. But either way, but now we got turtles.
Now we are confirmed. This is Magic's page, indeed. So unless they're, punking us, indeed, the announced unannounced Universes Beyond set is indeed going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for those that care, and certainly for right, Coach, and certainly for at least one of the content creators out there, Super Fast Tortoise. I'm sure he's got to be thrilled to death about this. There is something thrilling in this release set, so much so that I had other content creators poking me to tell me instantly as soon as all this was announced this week. It was a busy week at work for me. So thankfully to people like Coach and others that are in the community, I get some rather quick updates. Before we get too far down, because I don't want to forget, because I'm old, Matt, I do want to talk about this a little bit in your experience this week with that. Does that look familiar?
Parsons the Insider? Nope, never seen that card before in my life.
Okay, but look at the layout of the card. What do you see that looks
Yeah, I know
familiar?
what it is. It's Hero Realms, but
Yeah, and actually, you should have picked some of these up. Do you know where I picked that up?
nope.
Gen Con. This
Oh
is
well,
along with these.
yeah.
So we'll get into that in a little bit. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, Matt had some experience this week with some of the Hero Realms, and we'll cover that. And if we don't get to it on the regular stream, well, guess what? You're just going to have to subscribe, pay that whopping 99 cents or $1 a month to see the additional content after the regular content. And if you're not a member, please at least consider liking and subscribing, at least if you're here. I think there's a 3-dot thing if you're on the phone somewhere over in that direction. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I
we would appreciate it.
know.
And of course, interaction always helps get the videos put up front. So if you like what we say every week, and you want to keep tuning in, hit the like, subscribe, and, interact with us a bit. Beyond that, big news. We have a lot of stuff in this release announcement. First off, we'll start at the very top. Indeed, they've already set the release date of March 6th. So we have that firm for the release date. and I believe this is going to be the second set of the year. If I remember we covered the schedule, I guess you could say, of releases last week. We went
Yeah.
through that fairly.
Yeah, this was the unannounced, so that makes sense. It would be a second one.
And they've shown some of the cards, and to be quite frank, I think I like the look of the cards. I'm not a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. I mean, I'm aware of it, not really something that resonates with me. But
yeah, it's
these
something
don't
that I've
feel
never
weird.
really. I don't know. I think I've watched a little bit of it when I was growing up. I don't remember really caring too much about it. I remember playing the games a couple times, but that's about it.
Oh, I remember going to the arcade when they were in the arcade and playing it a lot. There are a lot of quarters in those suckers, for those of you that can't relate to that. But I'm just saying that the art is not offensive. The general art direction, I like. It's sort of like almost if you're familiar with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's like an upgrade to the actual comics that you saw on Saturday mornings and stuff. I actually think it's pretty nice. The boxes don't look weird. Yes, they use more than black and white Final Fantasy looking at you, and they actually look appealing. I love the color schemes that they've used with the purples, like it just with a green present. The font is right on. The collector box doesn't have terrible art. Whoa, I'm going to take a moment.
26 months.
Stefan, 26 months. A member. That's right, folks. Y'all can. We are, and I'm super happy to see you here. Finally, it's been
2
a minute
years.
since we've seen
That's
yeah, bro. That's
pretty
crazy.
awesome.
But I just want to comment on the art because I guess that's becoming more more. You can thank Matt for that. Matt's the one that discovered the vertical streaming. Stefan. There's another member, Time Capsule. Big time memberships out there. Really appreciate that. It's not going to pay our mortgages, but it will certainly encourage us to keep showing up here on Saturdays. Like that's what it is to me. When you guys have memberships, that tells me, hey, we really like what you're doing enough to throw, some money at you to keep doing it, and I will keep doing it if we have that kind of support for sure. But again, with the general direction, this one kind of confused me. Matt, you linked this image in our chat. Like, is it only one commander deck?
It would appear so. It's like one commander deck with like multiple partners in it.
That would be that's let's say that's different. Would you agree with that?
It's certainly different.
Like just a single commander deck, but do you hate it?
It says one commander deck, so yeah. I mean, the only thing that I kind of hate is that they're bringing partner back, but it's not the same. From what I understand, it's not the same partner as the other partners. It's called partner character select, which is bullshit. It's such bullshit. I don't. If that's true, if these partners can't be partnered with the other partners, that's stupid as hell. Just because they added the little like dash character select, that's stupid.
Well, they have that
flavor, it's fine.
They have that kind of with another set that it's not
I
called.
I couldn't remember what it was though.
Yeah, it's something else that's different.
Maybe Final Fantasy. I don't know. MTG
I don't recall it.
Character select.
I mean, I'm okay with the flavor of it, to be quite frank, that they're all partners, and you could probably pick the 4 partners that they have there. And the $70, well, just buckle up, Buttercup, on prices next year, because they've already announced that they're going up for Lorwyn. We've already seen them pushing the prices up, and this is a Universes Beyond set, so they're going to attach a premium to it. They have to pay for the IP, just like all of them.
Stranger Things had Friends Forever.
There you go. That's what it was. Yeah, Friends Forever, which is not partner. I don't remember. Was that something that you could do from the command zone? Like, I don't think so. I think you actually had to go through your deck to get the other one. I don't know how this is supposed to work. Partners, I believe, all start in the command zone. So if there's 4 partners here, would you have 4 cards in the command zone? or do you have to pick one? Anyways, they'll probably explain that. But I hope to Cosmic's point there, he says, I hope that the Mutant Ninja Turtles makes it to the arena. Let's hope that they've gotten better at contract negotiation, but time will tell on that for sure.
I don't even think it was contract negotiation. I think it was cost.
Intentional?
Yeah, I think it was too much money, and they're like, "Yeah, fuck it." Personally,
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm sure it's a lot of money because they have their own Marvel has their own card game, so they're probably like, "Well, we want to charge you $5 million," which is
who knows? You know, Disney's not known for being the best company to work with their intellectual properties. Like, that's all I'm going to say there. The Disney, we want a sponsorship. I would definitely take a Disney sponsorship. Let's go.
As long as there's no restrictions, sure.
Depending on what they're willing to pay. At any rate, another product that we're not quite familiar enough with yet because we don't have one yet, and that's these draft night boxes, though we know what's in them, right? It's a pick 2 draft style. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it Lorwyn that's going to have the first draft night product in it? I don't think they have it for Avatar. They might. I might have missed that, but I believe that it is.
I think Spider-Man is pick 2 as well, though, isn't it?
But that's just the draft itself, but not these. Not these draft night bundles that they charge. And I think these draft night bundles, they have like a collector pack as a prize pack, and then you have the other packs for the drafting. I think it's got
Lorwyn has draft night. It's draft night in a box. Draft night has everything you need to host a pick 2 draft with just 4 players.
Yeah.
And it says 1 collector booster.
Right. And I guess it would work for like, head to head. You just have 2 different draft rounds, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, it's nothing you can't get yourself. It's nothing super special. It's not like it has, what the hell was that had the gold pack in it? Oh, it was, but it was always the same card. Yeah. I love the idea, and I hope that somebody someday gets into this. This was the Ursula treasure card that you got inside the cooperative bundle, but it's just a single card sort of treasure chest bonus idea. I like that idea. I don't like the fact that it's just like, I wish they would have had like a draft night prize pack, so to speak, rather than maybe even with different treatments, different foiling, something that would have made these a bit more appealing, because quite frankly, you're getting like half of a play box plus 1 draft booster, which I think you could maybe, depending on MSRP, just buy cheaper in bulk on your own. But it is what it is, and it's a new idea that they're coming out with next year. We'll see how much it survives. I kind of feel like it won't. Basically, it's a bundle with a few more packs, right? It's like a gift bundle with just a couple more packs.
Yeah,
and they're $100, I believe, like $109 or something like that. All right, here we go. Another odd-shaped bundle box. You have the pizza bundle, and it's going to be like in a pizza box orientation here.
A personal pizza box.
And this is basically the gift bundle. Think of it that way.
It has a collector booster, though.
That is correct, but so does draft night. Oh,
yeah, I don't mind them like sprinkling in collector packs other places. I like that. That could be maybe trying to make collector packs a little bit more accessible, which is nice.
But it also says that it's going to be topped with pizza-themed cards, so we'll have to see what exactly that means as we get closer to release. And you get a spin-down die, which you could probably get one.
Well, there's pizza lands. So there's probably going to be some of them. There's probably going to be food tokens or whatever.
They have the bus for the regular bundle. You get a promo like every bundle, and there's that. And then you have the 4 different die that you have a possibility of getting. You don't get all 4 of these out of one pre-release kit. Sorry. So that's don't start suing WotC because they had a picture of 4 dice in front of The
It's a little misleading.
but you
But
notice though
yeah.
that you have this uh extra pack here, and I'm assuming that just has your promo card in it. I don't really know. But now they're putting it maybe so it doesn't you don't spoil it just opening your box or something. But by putting it in its own special wrapper, now you could actually sell them separately um as a lottery style pack rather than just, oh, the big hits are worth something and every other pre-release card is doo-doo, not worth anything. So at least maybe you could break out this pack, not open it, sell it, and recoup some of the cost for you to go to a pre-release. So I'm kind of in favor of that. I like that idea, but it looks bulkier than just like a single card, right? So I don't know what else comes in it. It says foil rare mythic. So maybe that's just like I don't know, because if you look, the packs don't look like that, right?
Yeah, it's
The
it's
art of the
definitely
packs.
it's definitely different.
And
What
it's not a collector pack because it's got the Planeswalker logo on it and says foil rare mythic. So I'm assuming that's what that is. Anyways, we'll see. I kind of like that if that's what they're going to do. I don't know how many times I've opened like a pre-release kit and didn't want to spoil, what I got. Wanted to savor it for more like opening style, slow roll. Or if you want to sell it, you know, on the other market, it'll carry a premium until somebody opens it. So I like it either way. Wow, they don't. Where's the one that I wanted to show? It's not in this listing.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I was trying to look for earlier is when I found the one I wanted to share.
Oh no,
The
this
one
is
that
it.
has
This
more
is it.
details.
This has it. So this is sort of the big news of the night. But if you have one, if you want to share, go ahead.
Yeah,
Like
it's the
this
page
is the
that has
big
more
news of the night.
details.
Do we have the price was like $40, something like that? $39.99, $49.99. I can't remember. But this is the big news. This is what everybody.
So if we want to just jump to the boss monster, we can do that for the whatever you want to call it.
Well, I think you just passed it.
This is what's interesting. So it has 5 traditional foil featured commanders with borderless art. So that leads me to believe that you have the face commander, and then also if you don't want to play the face commander, who's the 5 color guy, then you can pick between 2 of the whatchamacallits, the alternative commanders.
Partners forever, partners in love,
Partners character select, partners
crime.
friend forever, partners something else or other.
Do.
All right, so that's the bundle, Teenage Mutant Ninja bundles. Here we go, the
There
team
we
up.
go.
So form your own team of heroes in a half shell with this co-op experience. Each turtle team up includes the following. You get 4 play boosters, 4 theme decks. Each deck is themed around one of 4 main turtles. And then each deck consists of 60 cards, including cards from TMNT and TMNC. And then there's an enemy deck, which is, this is like one of the first times that they did the Hydra thing for the last thing I can remember of like any kind of like.
Well, they also did. They did to slay a Hydra and to kill a god was the Theros one. So they had the Hydra and the god.
But this is a full-on enemy deck that includes 39 cards designed exclusively for the Turtle Team-Up experience. So it's going to be a cooperative experience against this deck. I don't know how you win. It doesn't really like give any more details besides that it's a team-up thing. But like,
yeah, I mean,
the monster have hit points? What is the cards? Are they? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Well, but there's a lot to talk about even here with what they've said, because you notice they said that they give you 4 basically booster packs, right? And
4 playbacks.
No. Up top, 4 booster packs.
No, 4 Ninja Play boosters.
Yeah. And then 4 decks, right? So that I assume you're going to be supplementing your themed decks with the play boosters. Now,
probably.
What I hope is not the case, that
Or it
the
could be
boss
for you
deck
for winning.
is specifically like you have to play those 4 themed decks to even be able to play this, because the boss might only have things that target, you know, specific turtles. Donatello has this, gets this negative, and like that would kind of suck. I hope that that's not going to be the case, that this is its own little closed environment and that you could, build decks from your own personal libraries and, play the decks that you actually want to. I hope it's not like you have to play in this experience. It has to be turtle decks.
I
I hope
highly
not.
doubt that it's gonna be. Well, it is called the Turtle Team Up Experience. I don't know.
Well, and it
Maybe.
says 39 cards designed exclusively for the turtle team up experience, right? So I hope they don't
Yeah.
limit this to just playing against those 4 precons, so to speak, that are supplemented with boosters. That would suck, in my opinion. I hope that this is a wider experience, but I'm going to buy it at any case.
If
I
this
will
comes
see
to
what it
launch, what
has
I
to
think we
offer.
can see is there's a chance that we get some design ideas from the
Yep,
39 cards there. Like
there
that's
is.
certainly possible.
Well, maybe if not even from the cards themselves, but just the mechanics within the whole product,
Yeah,
right?
there's a tutorial booklet, so yeah, exactly. There could be like
There could be
some
something
ideas
that we
there.
could, enhance or make a flavor of Commander Raids off of this. I hope that they continue to your point there, Coach. That it's something that you could even upgrade the boss deck, right? That this is something that it's a beginner of a product line to. I should probably place an order for one of those.
I'll say you can pre-order right now.
Um, and that it's something that you can maintain into the future, and we can just add more stuff to as they continue this team up line. I hope it's not like the Clue box that's his own little environment and then you're done. Like I don't I think that would be terrible. They need to support their um PvE products longer into the future, right? So we'll see where it goes.
43 new cards just in the commander deck alone.
Yeah, and that's probably why it's $70. But I don't have a intelligent response to that. But yeah, I'm not paying $210 for a play booster, ever, for anything. I don't care what IP it is.
It doesn't show collector boxes on this page.
That's because they're all sold out.
Hmm.
That's what collector boxes do, is they just straight sell out.
Except for Spider-Man, they're available right now.
Well, that's because they're not sold out, because people didn't want it, and or had a lot of returns and a lot of cancellations. And Rudy went through his whole rant, and it's still you're all making a mistake. Possibly, but to what extent into the future will it recover? I'm not gonna even.
I don't know. I bought 2 boxes, so I did my investments, and I even bought mine at like 515 before they continue to go down. It's tempting to buy the ones on Amazon for 455. They're still available.
It depends on what exposure you want to have. $500
not,
is still $500 of exposure. Do you think it's going to beat the market by a wide margin? Because if not, then you're better off just putting $500 into the market.
It worries me that it's going to be a similar situation to what happened with me for any of the Flesh and Blood products that I was like, I don't want to miss out on. Everybody's gaining so much money. I'm going to invest heavily into whatever I forgot what's the set that I bought a lot of.
Tales of Aria.
Yeah, the Tales of Aria. I have like 4 cases of Tales of Aria, first edition, and like I was like, I'm going to keep them as they go down, and then like they still haven't recovered. It's just it could be one of those situations. Probably not, but
speaking of Flesh and Blood, what a great segue. I have another.
We have some cards to look at from TMNT, though.
We can go back to the cards later if you want, but you're on Flesh and Blood as it is, and it's poignant at this moment since you're talking about it. We can go back to the Turtles, and if we don't, we'll cover them in the member chat. That's right, $1 a month, folks. Member chat. Might get some juicy stuff there.
Maybe.
Or if you want to cover it now, go for it. I don't care.
There's a gifts ungiven for turtles. Well, gifts ungiven from the turtle set, I should say. It's very interesting. Though this card. We'll just talk about this card, then we can move on to the Flesh and Blood stuff. So this card is interesting. I'll open it up in a new tab so we can actually see all of its glory. So it's an instant card that says search your library and or outside the game for exactly 4 legendary creature cards you own with different names, then reveal those cards. An opponent chooses 2 of them, put the chosen cards in your hand, and the rest shuffle the rest into your library. The thing that I don't like about this is mainly for commander reasons. I mean, obviously it still works because you search your library, but I wish there was some kind of like sideboard for commander that allowed cards like this. There's a couple other ones that do this. They grab things from quote unquote outside the game. I don't just say sideboard. Why not just say sideboard? Like why do they use the wording outside the game?
That they're gonna add some rules to commander that you do have an outside the game for commander.
And I guess is exile outside the game? I mean, I think it's still considered inside the game, but it's exiled, so it's weird. I don't know. Either way, the wording is ambiguous. I don't like it. But anyways, this is still
outside the game refers to cards that are outside the deck that you bring to the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which currently is sideboard in an arena sense. And I believe that they want to try to open that up for commander to your entire library. So if you bring a book full of things that you want, that's basically your library. But you have to have cards specifically like this that allow you to interact with your sideboard as your library in these specific ways. I don't know, man.
Another thing that's interesting about it is that you're pulling the cards from outside the game potentially, and then they shuffle into your deck. All of the cards go into your deck, minus 2 of them. The 2 of them go into your hand, 2 of them go into your deck. So like you're actually adding 2 more cards to your deck, which is kind of weird. Or to your hand. I don't know. It's I like it. I feel like it's going to see play in a lot of different formats. I can't imagine Modern wouldn't want this. Like the sideboard, being able to access your sideboard game 1 seems strong, even if it's just like a one-off. Maybe I don't know. I don't know enough about Modern or any other formats to know if this card is like crazy for that. But it also would have to have legendary creatures that were sideboard relevant, or just powerful in general. Having like the whole thing that makes these kind of cards crazy is when you grab 4 of the same card, or the 4 of the card that does the same thing. So if you have like four different legendaries that have similar effects, then like there really is no choice, and then it's just a straight up tutor 2 cards. I don't know if that's going to be easily done. There are a lot of legendary creatures, but yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting card. So yeah. Segueing over to Flesh and Blood. It's fixing its price problem. I don't like the way that's worded. I guess it's Flesh and Blood.
They're saying Flesh and Blood. Well, you're supposed to read the Flesh and Blood logo. Flesh and Blood is fixing its price problem. Let's discuss that a little bit. I don't agree. I think one of the problems is my problem with Flesh and Blood is not the Timmy army. My problem looking at Flesh and Blood is it's not appealing as a collector. One of the things that is kryptonite to a... Oh, boy, you can't read that. Hell, I can't read that.
Why they have like gray text on white is really weird.
Well, what I'll try to do is just read it out directly. Why does this have to be problematic? So what it says is Flesh and Blood has always been an expensive game to play. I don't know. I think Matt would beg to differ. He's got some Aria boxes that aren't very expensive to have. And there's virtually like none of the boxes. Even they printed so much of it for the Game Piece Army in Flesh and Blood, made it so available that not only did they nuke the current prices moving forward, but they've absolutely decimated the prices of the OG boxes that were once $15,000 a piece are now down around $2,000 to $5,000 a piece. So even though Magic's fallen off, at most it lost about half of it from the hype. They haven't gone down, 3 to 5x. So Legend Story Studios has made an effort to get the game prices or the game price point under control, and they're succeeding. And they're showing a couple of cards here that I guess are highly desirable, called Plow Under and Feeling the Crown, and they list a whole bunch more in this. At $4.10 and $9.71. Basically, if you had these and they were valuable before, not anymore. With 6 high-level reprints, including 2 legendaries and multiple must-haves. I don't even know how to tell anymore, like what the what's legendary or not legendary, or like, do you remember anything about the design of the cards that would lead to tell you that, Matt? I think it's going to be something so small we can't see it on the screen. I think it's like a little L or a little something on the bottom there. We're seeing cards like Plow Under and Felling the Crown come down into the single digits. So what does this reprint renaissance mean for you? Scott Mine breaks down the new policy and all the cards you should pick up now. And it's this Super Slam product. So in essence, they are going to print the living bejesus out of high-value cards in a subsequent product.
So this is the article on by Scott Mines on Flesh and Blood on TCG Player, which is similar to the article that you had, but this is readable. But so they were talking about Felling the Crown and Plow Under. One thing that he mentioned somewhere I was scrolling through is this Rampart of Ram's Head. Why is this mentioned? That's to say nothing of Rampart over in Gem Pack 3. Players can now score a legendary card for just turning up to their weekly event. Wait, are they giving this card away? That would be annoying as hell.
Again, there's a reason that these are called TCGs, these tradable card games, and they're CCGs because they're supposed to have some sort of value.
Oh, it's it's like a promo pack for going into some event.
Like I don't have any of these cards.
Ramp's Head, and it would be annoying if they're just like, and it's now free.
It would be like if you owned some of these collector boxes and they just came out with reprint wave 2, 3, 4 and drove the prices down to like $100 a box. Nobody would want them. And you'd feel pretty bitter about buying them at $400 or $500 MSRP. It's I'm sorry you don't. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry you feel that way, Tina. We cover all aspects, not just the player aspects, but the collectible aspect. I don't even have a pony in this race. But I don't like when I see people that mismanage a tradable card game. And that's exactly what this is. And their prices have fallen off to the point where it's no longer collectible. And you need people, I hate to say it, Game Piece Army out there, you need people that don't play the game to buy the product. If you don't, the game will fail. It doesn't make enough money off Game Piece Army people. They don't sell enough product for it to live. It will die. We've seen it before, and it will happen again. Tina's allowed to express how they feel about it. I don't take any personal offense, and Tina shouldn't take any personal offense from me. I'm sorry that it makes you feel bad about it. I don't mean to offend anybody out there, but this is, numbers are numbers. They don't lie. And, Magic has shown over and over again that the reprint machine is so bad that, Cynthia Williams was asked to move on to destroy yet another company. And this is exactly what it is. A reprint renaissance should make any Flesh and Blood players who have any of these products that they spent their hard-earned money over the last couple of years just to get, a proctology exam from Legend Story Studios, that, hey, cards like what did you have, Matt, that was worth the hundreds of dollars and then they reprinted it? And
Findel Spring Tunic.
I feel bad for the people, especially the poor Timmies out there that don't make good money, spending that hard-earned money on a high-value card
It's still $150.
that just never recovers. And that's an
I really should
unfortunate
sell this
thing
if they're
to
talking
see.
about reprinting cards, because this is definitely a target of reprint for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate because all those people that those data points up there at the hundreds of dollars. Yeah, this is not a banning. It's just a reprint because, quite frankly, the game is struggling and they want to try to juice the secondary market, try to get a piece of the secondary market. Don't kid yourself that their PR tells you this is for your benefit. It is absolutely not. It's for the company's benefit.
You know what this box reminds me of? This box reminds me of that one game that we played from Gen Con. The one game Pat and I played. Legions, Realms of War. This box reminds me of. The colors are very similar. The orcs look very similar. Interesting.
Look kind of like World of Warcraft to me. But
Yeah.
My take on it, for whatever that's worth to whoever is listening in the audience, is that this is a bad idea for Flesh and Blood. It is only going to further drive box prices down and decrease the desirability of the product for people outside of the game players. And that's, I feel, an unfortunate thing that started off so hot as a collectible that they couldn't find a balance for the players. And I sympathize with that. But you don't have to absolutely flood the boat and sink it just to accommodate the gameplay. And the secondary market more than covers the players that want to have it. And to kill any desirability for the product, well, those people that have been hanging on, I won't be surprised to see a lot of people saying I'm out, hoping that they would turn a corner. They had started turning a corner, as I understood it, watching Rudy from, what was it? Like what was the name of that set that they Rudy said that they finally look like they're getting the clue and tuning back their print run numbers. Well, it doesn't matter if you tune back the print run numbers if you take all the valuable cards out of them and just make a reprint set out of it. Like, that's worse than overprinting. So reprint sets are toxic. Absolutely toxic. And unless you're playing in tournaments, you don't even really need to have the actual cards. You could proxy Flesh and Blood just as well as you could proxy any other game out there.
But I mean, it's not like they did like WotC has done in the past. Like their reprints are very targeted. They're not like they're not they're not like Urza printing it. From what that just says for the first time ever, the product features 6 high-level reprints. They only reprinted 6 cards this set. That's not bad. I think that's fine.
Well, they did the white border ones before. Well, we're only going to make them less desirable.
Reprints. Yeah, that was bullshit. I don't agree with that. I hope they don't ever do that again.
Okay, that's exactly my point, though, right? Like, this is their tuned down version, or what do they call it? The bonus sheets. Now that WotC's gotten away from reprint sets, okay, by and large, they are now just reprinting in every set, right? And this is LSS taking, a page from what I see bad practices by WotC. You need to create desirability for your game to be collectible by more than just your player base. If you don't, good luck.
What is this Gem Pack 3? No current listings. Some promo pack of cards or something.
They just announced this. It just kind of made my radar. I thought I'd bring it up, and well, let's see. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling you're going to see further decline of interest in Flesh and Blood.
I don't think so, but
from a purchasing standpoint, absolutely you will.
I don't think this affects reprint value at all. On these 6 cards, it will in the immediate future, but that price will trend back up, I'm sure.
Okay.
I guess it depends on how played these cards are. I haven't played Flesh and Blood since like the first 3 sets, so I don't truthfully know what's going on.
This is just my take, and I could be 100% wrong. And as Pat said, I don't know shit. You don't know shit. Nobody knows shit. So we'll see. My take on it is I feel this is a bad move.
I think if there truly are cards that are $50 to $100 and you need multiple copies, then it definitely needs a reprint. I think no normal card of a trading card game should be more than probably, I don't know, $30 to $50. Especially when you need multiple copies of cards, then you're looking at thousands of dollars for a deck in order to your barrier to entry is just stupid.
For that deck, I'm sure there are other decks that are affordable.
Yeah, but everyone wants to play the best deck. Nobody wants to play the garbage deck because you don't have money. Money should not be a limiting factor of how good of a deck you can play. Like that's
Well, the problem is it's not just all about the game. You also have a collectability aspect, and to nuke
but there
that
could be
is
collectible
terrible.
versions of the card. They don't like cold foil should be the collectible version. The normal card should be worth like
Okay.
nothing, and then the cold foil should be worth a ton. That's
Okay.
how I
Well, we've
think it should
seen
be.
that's not at all how it ends up playing out.
Well, the cold foil in Flesh and Blood, they always are worth more money. I don't think they're ever
Okay.
not worth more money. But I don't know about the normal foiling is kind of useless. I don't remember if their foil's Kringle or not.
Wouldn't know. Don't have any. Don't want any. I got out of the Flesh and Blood game around that same whole. I mean, it's the same idea. Oh God, yeah. I guess we can go back to that.
Yeah, let's go. Let's visit Leonardo.
Let's go on this one.
Samurai.
More whining, Tina. You should tune in. We're about to whine again. So perk up.
I think this says during
terrible.
your turn you may cast creature spells with power or toughness 1 or less from your graveyard. Why is this in the middle of the text? I don't like it.
The signature,
it can be over this shitty white and black art.
Well, we haven't got there yet, so we're.
I just did.
In case you haven't picked up, we're not in favor of this at all.
Yeah, this doesn't really do anything.
It's not quite just black and white. It's like black and white with shades
Gold.
of brown, but it is black and white-esque. It is. I don't know why they favor this lack of color style of card.
Somebody likes it.
Seems lazy. Somebody obviously likes it at WotC, but to your point, then you have a text box. You can't even read. What does that word say? Are you sure that's what that says? It's.
I mean, you can read every word on here, but it's difficult. It's annoying.
They could have just taken that massive signature and moved it up to the empty space that's up. If you go back to it, that empty space where it's blank up to the right of it, right? To the right of the sneak.
Yeah.
They could have just shrunk it down to where it fit in that little area instead of both obscuring the shredder helm and the signature. That's not a real signature that's printed on there. Like, this is just swing and a miss.
These are similar.
Hard
Instead
to
of
read.
white and black, they're white and red, or black and red.
Still hard to read the text.
It is readable, more readable than the gold signature, but I still don't like I still don't love it. It's not bad. It's just not great.
I love that a green card is majority red.
Yeah, it's very red. So these are source material cards.
So doubling season. Yeah, that's reprinting that again. It's not going to make doubling season, which already dropped down to a reasonable rate, even cheaper now.
Well, there's only 4 of these, so these are like the serialized cards, I guess. 4 borderless headliner cards with art by Kevin Eastman. Booster fun. Booster fun.
Let's see. Let's see. I would say it's a strong wager that doubling season is now going to dip once they announce this. Can we see that? Do we have doubling season? Haven't even looked. So we're going to get the reaction live of what generally happens when they announce reprints.
You think that it won't really show it now.
Sure it will. It'll get worse once it's released, but yeah, even when they announce it. Yep. Sure does. The cheapest one is $24.
Yeah, Yeah, but what were they? It looks like maybe it went down a couple dollars.
Yeah,
'Cause
and that's
the
before it even
marketplace
releases.
the marketplace typically takes a little bit of time to update, so that would mean that these went down a little bit since the
Announcement.
announcement.
Yeah.
This one
But
got cut in half. Judge promo.
and that's really what happens is once you have a desirable version and there's a more desirable version that comes out,
So how
the
many of
previous
these
one tends
borderless
to take it
source
in the pooper.
material cards? Oh yeah, what are these available in? Collector boosters, draft night, and pizza bundle. So everything. So this is only collector booster only. These headliner. There's 4 of these versions of cards. Each of the 4 main Turtles headliner cards. These cards feature original borderless artwork by Kevin Eastman. No idea who he is. He probably does something for Turtles.
I'd
Complete
imagine.
with a shiny stamp of the artist's signatures. We showed off this version of Leonardo and will share his borderless brothers closer to the set's release. Only available in collector boosters of any language. And these will be available in everything, it looks like. 20 different source material cards in the non-foil source material cards appear in play boosters and collectors, and the traditional source can only be in collectors. Okay. So that's interesting. Dark Ritual, this doesn't look terrible, but he looks kind of weird. Splinter looks like kind of derpy.
I mean, it's not like he was always
I mean, now he's
amazing looking.
a human rat like thing, so I don't know, but I don't hate the art. The art looks okay.
Why is the good guy doing a dark ritual?
That's Splinter, isn't it? He's not good.
Shredder's the bad one. Pretty sure this is the leader of the Mutant Ninja Turtles. Isn't this their sensei?
Splinter Turtles. I should put TMNT. TMNT. Splinter, he is Sage of the Turtles.
Yeah, the good guy. Doing
Splinter
a dark
just
ritual.
kind of sounds like a bad guy name.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
What I'm saying is why is that not Shredder doing the dark ritual?
This one says it's only available in the pizza bundle.
Yeah,
so we're picking up 6 cards from
lands.
Magic's Pass, serving them to you as part of the pizza bundle. We're only giving you a taste of these cards today. We'll be feeding more previews later. Each one gives you 2 of 6 pizza bundle cards, and then you get full art pizza lands. I don't really like these that much. How do I? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, not a fan.
The Turtles' love for pizza is so. I mean, I love pizza, but I don't really want pizza lands, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe if it had a coupon on the back for like a free pizza, I'd be down with it.
Oh, interesting. This product looks like it'd be best for our Commander Raids thing. Every pack has 1 legendary turtle card of any rarity.
Sure, but I'm not paying $210 for a box.
Yeah, I have a feeling they won't be 210. I mean, even Spider-Man's only 150 right now. 1 wild card of any rarity. 1 wild card. What the hell's a wild card?
It means any rarity.
Like any card of any rarity. 1 out of any 28 boosters. Wait, in 1 of 28 play boosters, 1. What? What is this word? What? In 1 out of 28 play boosters, 1 of 20 non-foil source material cards will replace a common. Oh.
So that's like what they did in Final Fantasy, right? With
I like that being something to look at in the common slot. So I like this. I'm
down. Like, okay, cool.
Booster little sneaky intro, little sneaky cool cards in there. Like that's cool.
Like I think that's where you could potentially have gotten like a Ristic Study from Final Fantasy was in that wild card slot.
So you could have a potential of 5 mythics if you had like a god pack. Because I'm assuming this could be a mythic. This is a turtle of any rarity, so you can get a mythic there. Wild card of any rarity, you get a mythic there. Rare mythic there, and then a foil could be a rare mythic. So one single play booster could have upwards of 5 rares or mythics.
But all they've
Or a
done is just like
combination.
downshift, to be quite frank, as frequent now as mythics are, they're essentially the good rare of old, and the rares are more like uncommons. The uncommons are more like commons.
Oh,
And the
they're bringing back
commons
search foiling.
garbage.
Traditional foil or search foil basic land. Traditional foil or mythic rare card. Non-foil booster fun or TMC cards, one of which may be search foil. One non-foil or
That's got to
traditional
be that
foil
was the
for
collector
source
box.
material. Yeah, these are
Is that the collector
collectors.
pack? Yeah.
One foil booster fun rare or mythic card, a headliner card up here in this slot at a low rate. So yeah, nothing, no collector, no serialized cards in the collector packs. They're just doing this foil headliner instead.
The headliners where that's the
Yeah, the gold
shot.
stamp. I don't know. It's not going to be. It's not going to have the same kind of allure as a serialized card.
I agree with you, and that's the same problem that Spider-Man had.
We already looked at that. Anything special in these bundles? Lands, reference cards. Reference for what? Who knows? Foil promotional card. That's normal. Oversized spin on life counter. Normal. Card storage box. Normal. So nothing special in the play bundles.
Other than it's a bus.
And I wouldn't call it special. The pizza bundle is interesting.
Yeah, the only problem with that is like, what does the inside box look like?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
It's going to be a weird orientation for your shelf. So, like, if you have a collection, blah blah blah. Them constantly changing the shape of the bundles is potentially problematic.
5 traditional foil pizza basic lands. 2 traditional foil pizza bundle promo cards. 2 reference cards.
I don't know what those are. I don't think we've covered that. Like what the pizza bundle promo cards are.
Well, one of them is this guy, the Splinter guy.
Oh yeah, the Dark Ritual. There you go. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, but they said that there's going to be 6 of them.
Okay.
6. So there's only 6, which is a pretty low amount. But
and you're getting 2.
You're getting 2 per pizza bundle.
So
and
yeah, they're not going to be that, like they're trying to chase somewhat that feel of like the Phyrexian oil slick foils, but they just aren't.
They're also saying that the pizza bundle's a storage box. This would be the most awkward storage box
That's
ever.
what I just said. It's like, eek.
Yeah,
the only to your point there, Benson, the only thing that really appeals to me, and only because of the newness and uniqueness of it, is the team up.
Yeah, turtle team up. Draft night
has no interest in me.
Well, draft night includes 90 lands. So you have your full land base for, well, mostly full land base depending on
Love you too, Sherry Vegas.
10 non-foil double-sided tokens and 1 draft insert. I don't know what the hell that means. Draft insert.
I'm not a huge Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. Outside of the team up, I don't see much. Yes, that's okay so long as you like white trash skanks. But the art is good. I'm trying to be positive on the product. I don't like the price points. Not super fond of like the special things that they're doing in it. Other than the team up, and we'll have to see how that plays out. The commander deck, possibly. Oh wow, are those still available? Wow.
There's no value in it. Nobody wants them.
That's.
I was gonna at the Secret Lair page because I wanted to remind people that October 13th is a time you should set your calendar for. It's the ones where you have the what is it? The
Iron Maiden thing.
Iron Maiden, yeah. The one is like the dark or the dark demonic tutor. That one's like a really good laird. I would like almost certainly want to buy that. Yeah, this one here. This one has the demonic tutor. There was a site that had done. Let's see if I can find it real quick. There was a site that had done reprint values, or not reprint values, the values of the most recent secret layers that were announced, and one of them was like crazy value. But that was basically because there was like a one of the cards had never been reprinted since like 7th edition in foil. So like there was like a $700, forget which one it was. I think it was, I don't know. I'd have to find it, but one of these secret layers I would keep an eye out for. I don't think it's going to be worth that much, obviously, because once the card gets reprinted, I don't think the 7th edition will go down, but I don't think it'll hold the same kind of.
Oh, of course they go down. Just like if you look at Imperial Seal, that was an $1,800 card. And then Double Masters 2022 came out.
I really wish I would have bookmarked that article. They did a really good job at
Imperial Recruiter was one of those that
one.
prior to Modern Horizons 2 was, a very expensive card. And if you look at the price history, it, came down a ton. And in those rare cases, if it's something that is highly played, okay, I would see the argument that it does need a reprint. Like if it's only because of super scarcity that they only printed it once, and it's so far out of reach. Okay. Yeah. See, those Imperial Seals, what they're showing for now is a price of $700, and I'm going to bet that there's no movement on these things. And, that was once upon a time an $1,800 card. And it's, they don't, they sell more frequently than I thought. We have 5 since the beginning of August have sold.
All right, here we go. I found the thing. So these are the 10 secret layers that were announced. So the one, $5 non-foil, $12 foil. Obviously, if you like foils, if you like Furbies, then I guess maybe get it. But the value is nothing really there. The Furby with the second Furby one, $8 non-foil, $14 foil. Obviously, nothing really there unless you like Furbies. The Iron Maiden one, the $11 and $26 for the foil. Nothing really crazy there. This one here is a slightly better, Dreaming Darkly, but $19 non-foil, $29 foil. Nothing really crazy. Another Furby one. This is the one that's the first one that's actually worth actually buying. At least as far as like if you're really concerned about just like getting the value of the cards that you pay for the secret layer, $28 non-foil, $37 foil. The Trick or Treat bundle here for these.
But I think all these are below the sell price.
$21.31. I think the secret layers are like $29 for the non-foil and $39 for the foil, if I remember correctly.
That's still more than what the value inside of it is. Plus, you're going to have taxes and shipping if you don't go over 100.
Close so far. The Trick or Treat one's not. The Jaws one, nothing really crazy here. This is the first foil printing of Reckless Endeavor, so we don't really know what that'll cost, but it probably won't make up the difference. It probably won't be like $23 or whatever. Maybe, since it's the first foil reprint. This one here, this is the first one for Dwight, $43 non-foil, $42 foil, which is funny because the foil is lower than the non-foil. So if you like Dwight, and then this one here, this one's the funny one. So it says 1,000. I think it's 1,000, $146 foil. So there's one here.
Demonic Tutor foil.
Northern Paladin, that's what it was. So Northern Paladin hasn't been reprinted since like 7th edition. So in 7th edition, it's $66. I highly doubt it will be worth that much in this printing.
Oh no! And as soon as you print these, like you're just putting massive amounts of these back out into circulation. So secret layers tend to really drag down the prices of cards.
This will likely be $39.99 or $29.99 for the non-foil. And if you need a Demonic Tutor, that's going to be the cheapest you'll ever be able to buy them. Armageddon also not too bad, $14. So those two cards there carry this pretty heavily.
Yeah, I would say that of all of them, if you want it for financial value, but I don't think it'll hold on. Now, the ones that potentially
this
could go
one,
up over time are like the album covers.
yeah, this is the Iron Maiden Eddie Unchained non-foil, $78, foil $124. Like this is a
Yeah,
really good
there's
value
one
one.
card carrying that entire financial value, really.
What? Bruvex $45.
Yeah, and 52 foil is
Iron Maiden
carrying
is
the bulk.
9. Mindcrank is 12.
Here's the problem with Iron Maiden, right? Is that foil one is only because the last time it was a foil, I think, was Urza's Legacy. So now that you're going to get it in foil, but the Iron Maiden, that's really just kind of a cool thing. I play Iron Maiden, and it says Iron Maiden on it. It's the Iron Maiden version of Iron Maiden. Okay, cool. That's kind of kitschy, but
Yeah, Mindcrank being $20, it makes sense.
oh, this isn't a bad value for like card values, but don't expect them to hold the values. But there are some Iron Maiden fans out there. But the older we get, like, how big of an Iron Maiden fan are you?
I couldn't even name a singular song.
Okay.
Not
We're
to say
all
that I
getting old
dislike
and
them,
dying.
but I don't know them enough to. I'm sure I would recognize the song if it came on, maybe.
I doubt it. And one of their biggest ones was "Run to the Hills," but
Okay,
2
well then I
Minutes
know that
Midnight.
song. You
Huh?
remember that my dad listened to Iron Maiden and Def Leppard and all
Sure.
that era.
I went to those
so, like,
concerts too when I was young.
heavy metal
But
bands. I definitely
what
I've heard them from him listening to them.
what I'm saying is that generation is slightly a bit old for Magic players. Like, it's not a huge player base for Magic. So, to some extent.
Yep. But I just want to give people the quick reminder that I would probably set an alarm if you're interested in these secret layers. There's 2 of them that I think are worth buying. The one with Demonic Tutor and the Iron Maiden Eddie Unchained. And then maybe I guess the other Iron Maiden, not necessarily because of the reprint value in them, but if you're interested in just
the album art cover,
the actual cards itself. Yeah, the album art, these things here. But anyways, we're 4 minutes over.
yeah, we're giving away our member content, man.
Well, we have. I mean, I don't know if Pat made a second stream. We can just turn this to members only. But
that was a thing that you were working out. So, for those of you who are members, I think the way this is supposed to work out is, I mean, I don't know if it was set up properly, but we're going to try it. We have a thing now where we can switch the stream from open to the public to members only. That was a thing that Matt discovered this week. So we're going to
sent an email out basically stating that we can just change it while we're live. I could just click this button and then have all channel members. And the moment I click save, it should kick, I'm guessing, the people that aren't channel members out.
Did you do it already?
Nope.
Okay. Well, for non-channel members, consider becoming one. And everybody that was here tonight, including, what was that person's name? Tina. Thank you for your time. Even if it was disagreement with my take on things, I appreciate you spending your time here. I really do. And for everybody that's giving their time to us in the audience, thank you very much for your time tonight. And we'll see you again next weekend. For the members, hang on. We're going to try to make a switch to where you don't even have to click on a different stream.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm clicking save. I think the only thing your members only live stream has been created. Eligible members with notification will be turned on. Moderators who aren't members of this channel won't be able to access members only live streams. Okay. So technically this should be members only. The only problem is I cannot switch it to horizontal. I think that's the only downside.
Oh, that's a definite bummer when we start playing.
Yeah, we'd have to do the double streams with that.
Because this orientation will not work for the Commander Raids play at all.
Nope.
Just can't see anything. But I can still hear us yakking upstairs, so I'm not sure that we're on members only. I wonder how we can confirm that. Go to, I think I'm not a member of our stream. So if I go to YouTube and I look up Cardboard Conversation, are we still streaming for non-members? If there are any non-members in the audience that can hear the sound of my voice, can you let me know? I would appreciate that. We're trying to learn some new tech on the fly here.
Yeah, I assume what I did worked, but I don't know. It is a new feature, so it's possible that it doesn't work.
And there might have been some setup we would have had to do. Don't know. So the members, hopefully, like something popped up. Oh wait, I think this I do have.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is
So I switched over to an account, like a different
it
account than
worked.
the. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was like, I
Sure, you
can't.
gotta get this
I'd have
not
to
a member.
join in order to see. I'd have to spend 99 cents a month. No change. Yeah. Well, I mean, it shouldn't change for you. You remember. That's
All
the
right.
YouTube sent a message out to all the YouTube or the channel creators is they're introducing a new feature where you can like change to members only in the middle of the stream. I think it's possible that makes it easier to convert non-members to members because like if you're in the middle of a conversation and like the time runs out, you can like, all right, we're switching to members only, and or
Well,
maybe you
even
can
beyond that,
convert
it's
some
less
members.
that the members have to do, right?
True. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to switch the orientation as well. Maybe we could make that suggestion to YouTube that you can switch the orientation on the fly.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a limitation on StreamYard because when I open up the menu, it says orientation settings are disabled while live.
Yeah, so we probably cannot. That would be a nice feature, but whatever. So some of the stuff that I didn't want to talk about in the public channel, and they're going to catch up on it later, is kind of hot off the press. Did you catch Rudy's video today? It's kind of rare that he puts out a video the same day that it releases. So
No.
that's sort of telling. Yeah, his latest video talking about, like I lost $2 million on Pokemon and whatever. But it starts feeling very much like sort of scumbaggy Rudy again, where he's, thou dost protest too much about the Spider-Man collectors. I wouldn't say it's a great venture, right? At some point, the worm will turn. We all know that these values can't hold. It's a bubble. It's clearly a bubble. They're only worth that much because that's what people say they are. All these collectors that have just inflated in the last year. It's too new. It's too small of a data set to warrant the prices that you're seeing. We don't know print run numbers. We don't know the availability. There could be somebody sitting on a mountain of them. Could be sitting on none of them. We just don't know. But there's no, by any other measure of any other investable, it's not a very appealing thing that you should be FOMOing out over these collector boxes at super high prices. And I have a good chunk of them, but I have them for a different reason. At any rate, he was talking about the correlation of Bitcoin dropping drastically to, he said that it was the smallest amount of people paying on the sale he had last night with crypto for a long time. And that's because the market, if you're not aware, took a massive hit yesterday because Trump announced bigger tariffs on China. So the stock market took a massive hit. Like, just to give a relative idea, in the last 24 hours, my portfolio has taken almost a $40,000 hit. So imagine losing $40,000 overnight. That's essentially what's happened. Now, you don't realize gains until you sell.
3,000.
Well, it has
2%.
It's a matter of scale, right? And what you're invested in. But crypto dropped from like 122 right down to like 109. Is that what they said? Or at least for Bitcoin. Other crypto
25%.
Yeah, some other cryptos, depending on which type of currency you're in, lost as much as 60% yesterday.
So now is a great time to buy.
Well, that's kind of what I told my daughter. The problem with what I do is, I'm at the steady Eddie point in my buying. I've been buying consistently. Like, there's a saying that, like, Warren Buffett, don't pay attention to the noise, always be buying. So you buy when it's up, you buy when it's down, which is what I'm going to continue to do. And you don't lock in any losses ever until you sell. And you also don't lock in any gains until you sell. That's the way that works. However, This is the fastest turnaround that I've seen that market fluctuations, and especially market drops, which we've had a number of them in the last 5 years, having such a rapid response in the TCG community. What I've seen, like in 2020, 2022, like when the stock market, took a precipitous dip, it was about 6 months before it really started affecting the secondary market in Magic. I don't know how long it's going to be till we see a bigger dip, if this is a sustained or prolonged dip. And at the beginning of this year, we saw a drop in the market. But if it sustains, if this is indeed a longer term drop in the market, expect it to obviously trickle over into, the collectible card space. I would be very cautious about purchasing wantonly, irresponsibly right now, and any of the products, because you have a larger exposure to risk that way. If you followed our advice, or at least my advice, which is only buy what you don't mind having go to zero, then you're safe anyways, because it won't matter what the pricing does. And only buy it with that intention that the second you spent the money, like any other game, it's gone. Like if you bought a game of Monopoly or Pandemic or whatever, you don't say, well, hopefully if I keep it sealed, it'll be worth $400, if you bought it for $100 today. You just assume that when you purchased it. All right. Have a good one, Time Capsule. Thanks for joining us, as always. So, kind of use that same mentality with this game. It is a game. It can rapidly just go to zero. Now, that's obviously parabolic. None of it's really going to go to zero. Even if, like, these drop, they don't go to zero. They were just once upon a time over $100, and now they're what do we say, like $15 or whatever now?
I haven't looked. I don't
know. They'll maintain some value, just like the Star Wars Destiny cards that I have. It's not truly zero. But if your intention is to make money off of this, first off, I would say you better be a very wealthy person that already has all of your other investments in line with what you should do for a responsible financial life, up to and including retirement, because that's a scary thing for a lot of people. I'm going to tell you, being a guy that's facing retirement soon, and I've done good planning, most of my peers, cousins, friends, high school friends, I'm going to be retiring very much by myself. People that are my age are not ready to retire. And when I talk to most of them, for example, my neighbor right across the street, my age, we've been neighbors for 10 plus years. When I was talking about getting ready to retire, in the last couple of years to him, he says, "You're going to retire?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Wow, my retirement is the grave." And I'm like, okay. And we're in a decent neighborhood. I know what his job is, and he has a good job. Both he and his wife work, and they just haven't planned properly. And I would bet that is the sad state. If you go out and look at all the numbers, that it's terrible, and it's so far away from most of the people that are in this audience because they're younger. That, oh, well, that's so far away, I have time to catch up. And I'm telling you, time is what you'll see is you don't have as much as you think, and you need the time for compounding to work. And so if you're buying these products at hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, that could be working for you in compound growth.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know how much I would have had if I would have had my first 401k that got cashed out when I left Time Warner Cable. There wasn't like a ton of money in there, if I remember correctly, but I wasn't investing into it like I am currently. So I think there was only like 1,000 or two in there, because it was only like a year, so it wasn't like a super long time.
I mean, this is why I plan
This
to,
was like 15 years ago.
To make a fine. I mean, if you hadn't contributed significantly more, yes, compounding works with larger numbers. And there's plenty of videos that explain compounding, but you double every 7 years, but you're compounding on that growth. And if you're not contributing more, then it's small scale. It wouldn't be very big even now. So at 15 years, it would have only doubled twice. And if you weren't continually contributing to it, you're only talking about $4,000 is what it would be now, which isn't very much, right? You do have to contribute a significant amount. But imagine if you had taken the same money that you're currently throwing at Magic, and imagine that doubling every 7 years until you retire, let's say 21 years from now. And I assume you're in your mid to late 30s. I don't know exactly how old you are.
36.
Okay. So let's say 21 years so that you have 3 shots at tripling it. And how much would you say that you spent in the last year on Magic?
Um,
How about let's go this way, the last 3 years. You can ballpark it. Rough ballpark if you just...
we'll say 10, 15,000.
Okay. So we'll just split the difference and say 12,000. So in 7 years, that would triple or double. Triple. So you'd have 24,000. 7 years from that, you'd have 48,000. 7 years from that, you'd have 96,000. And that's the average rate of return at 7%, which is actually higher, traditionally speaking, in the stock market. And, you're looking at almost $100,000. Now, at some point, and they say the magic number really for investing is the first 100,000, because at some point, the amount that you gain every year, even from compounding interest, it starts growing faster than the amount that you actually contribute. And I think they're using like $10,000 a year or something. And 100,000 is where it starts overtaking how much you're actually contributing. And certainly by the time your portfolio reaches 250,000, most people don't contribute, more than 10, 15,000 a year. And it's 7%, or it's really 10%. So we're just going to use 10% a year. That is 25,000. So you'd have, just to match what it's gaining every year, you'd have to be putting in 25,000 or more. And then once you hit $500,000, very few people are putting $50,000 a year in it, right? And certainly by the time you're up to $1 million, you're not, nobody is really contributing $100,000 a year to their retirement. And that's sort of where it just starts steamrolling, that it earns more than maybe even you're earning for the year. And that's what compounding does. So the point of all that is that even if you don't get these large numbers, every little bit counts as early as you possibly can. The best time to invest was yesterday. The second best is today, no matter what the market's doing. That's a whole different thing with cashing out.
If nothing changes, if I just make the same amount of money and make average returns in the market, in retirement, I'll be making significantly more money than I make now.
That's something you have to have future vision. Most people, I was watching this, Ramit, I think is his name. He's a finances guy, and he was talking. He always talks to couples that make a shitload of money, like more money than my household makes, and they're in financial dire straits because 80 to 90% of the people walking around out there, financially speaking, have no forward or future vision. They think of finances only as of today or this month, like this month's bills. They don't think ahead next year, 2 years, 3 years. 60% of all Americans can't even get their hands on $1,000 of emergency money if an emergency hit them. That is frightening that you wouldn't even have that in cash as most Americans. $1,000? Hell, that could just be like your brakes going out on your car, or you ran over a bunch of glass and your tires need replacement. Cars are $750 average payments now. And that's like a 1 month payment. So it's frightening. And what does that have to do with Magic? People will toss out $1,000 for a collector box and not even think about it, but they can't cover an emergency bill. For people like me in the hobby, that makes me sick to my stomach for those people. That they're spending on something that is highly volatile, has a great potential to go absolutely to zero. Most people don't even realize like what it truly takes to make money. We've tried to cover this before with like all your fees, all the shipping, taxes, how much a product has to increase in order to truly be profitable. Now, Matt's made a video about some of the shining examples, but not all examples go that way. And even those examples, the profit margin is different, and you have to pay taxes on it. So there's also what's he didn't even factor in, and we didn't factor this in before because it gets down into complicated finances, is what's called opportunity cost. Meaning, think of it just simply this way. And that's what I was trying to run with my investment experiment of putting into the market the average amount that an average Magic player would put into the game without thinking about it, which is basically like $150 a month. Is that what I said it at, or 125? Something along those lines on the average.
Like whatever a play box would be.
But unfortunately, when I was working on some retirement preparation, some of those accounts got all kind of merged together, and it kind of blew up my experiment. So that's unfortunate. But the opportunity cost, think of it this way. Even if you bought that holiday edition of Lord of the Rings, which is like a one-off event that really just skyrocketed, and because you couldn't even really get Final Fantasy at any sort of consistent rate that has large gains on it, even though it's an expensive box. Most of these you couldn't get them cheaper, like the Fallout because of the FOMO now, or the Lord of the Rings version. You have to look at your cost to buy plus all the taxes and the shipping, and then your cost to sell with the fees and the shipping and the taxes. And what's coming this year that people don't even realize is anything over $600 that you sell, guess what? You're going to be getting a 1099 for how much you sold, taxed at a rate of your income. So whatever your income taxes are, and most people are above 40,000 a year. The average is 50,000. You're going to be taxed at like a 22% rate. On top of that is part of your income, not just the sales tax, but an additional income tax on that as well for your 1099. Now, I think there's like certain things like the cost of the product, if you kept receipts and all that kind of stuff. But I think most people are going to get caught flat-footed, and they're going to be paying 22% on the total sale price of all that, because it will be, to itemize means you can't claim the standard exemption, blah, 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 blah. It's going to get really nasty here with that tax coming. And the opportunity cost is, what if I had taken that same amount, whatever it is, and invested in the market? Because there's something most people don't know, that when you buy something in the market and you sell it, if you sell in less than a year, you pay short-term capital gains, which is a higher rate. If you hold on to it for just 1 year, and most people tend to hold on to assets in the market longer than 1 year, after 12 months, you only pay 15% capital gains on that, even during the year that you're working. And it gets even less if you go into the future and that's the only thing that you're selling. Before you get to like a certain amount, it doesn't count towards your income at all. And you get zero tax for up to like 150,000 of capital gains. So the tax, first off, when you sell your mutual funds and whatnot, you typically don't have a seller fee like a TCG player or an eBay. You don't have sales tax at all when you're in the market. And the only tax that you pay is generally at a lower rate for capital gains for long term. So these are all opportunity costs that if I had taken that same amount of money, invested in the market versus buying Magic products, right? There are far less fees, far less tax implications of being in the market versus what you have to make on a product. That means a product has to really skyrocket to beat 10% per year gains that you were getting out of the market. So that means a product has to increase along with compounding growth, by the way, which you get in the market. You don't get compounding growth from Magic products, right? So thinking of it as investment is really, really difficult to make a lot of profit in the long term versus short term, and people saying they're buying the product holding for long term. I do that, but I'm doing it as a hobby, and I don't really care about the returns. And a lot of people look at that and think, oh, Rudy, he doubled or tripled his price. You have to more than double or triple to even come close to competing with what you could have done in the market.
Well, it's also a volumes game and also a way to offload or being able to offload like you can to patrons.
Even at that, I mean, they have to increase. Thinking of doubling and tripling is really in his world doing that in a short term, because he's also getting wholesale pricing and distributor pricing and all those kind of things. I'm sure all of that works, and yes, at scale, correct. He can make a profit, but does it necessarily beat the gains he would get out of the market if he was investing in an indexed fund? He tends to buy individual stock, but Rudy's a bit of a gambler, to be quite honest, and he's been very successful in many things that he's gambled on. But make no mistake, he's also diversified in many different things, many different asset classes.
I was gonna say, he has so much fuck you money. He's like shotgunning everything and just like, I'm buying Legos, I'm buying all the card games, I'm buying paintings, real estate. Yeah, he literally is just he has so much money that he's just like, I'm gonna put it everywhere, and it's hard to lose. I think when at a certain point when you have so much money.
Well, it depends on what you buy. Like,
and of course, he has to get there. Sure, like
you can see sports figures and actors that tend to have stellar amounts of money, way more than what Rudy has, that lose it all.
What's crazy to me? What's crazy to me is how much money he has. Why is he working? I don't understand why he's working anymore. Like what? Because he's addicted, I think.
Well, and that's what I know a number of people that are very successful. My best friend from high school. It's funny. We had a conversation. Oh, he was 48, so this is a good, 7 or so years ago. And he said, "Well, I'm retiring." And he had his own business, has his own movie studio. I mean, he puts out movies. God bless him. I hope he never sees this, but they're terrible. He actually has stuff on Prime Video, and it's just so bad. I love him, but his stuff is awful. I won't even throw him under the bus here, but he had a stroke of genius, or however he came across it. He had a data mining company that he started 25 years ago, buying and selling and finding, more like selling, people's personal information. And he has contracts set up with the governments, with police stations, with like the FBI and all these other venues that I'm not going to say how. That company made very large sums of money, and so he was able to retire. But he was working for TSA, which I was like, that's insane. So he was just a regular security officer for TSA. He started off as Broward Sheriff down in Florida. He had that business going on the side, and it finally snowballed into a rather large business. And then he was working for TSA while running his business and making movies. He's one of those kind of people. I'm sorry, it's very long-winded to kind of get to that. But he retired, meaning he quit the TSA, or, finally hit his 20 years of service or whatever it was. He stopped that, but he didn't stop his personal business. He called me and asked me if I would take over operations for his data mining company. And I don't like mixing money and friends. Money, friends, and money and relatives, like, that's just a bad mix. Like, business and relative, business and friends is usually, you end up with one or the other, but you usually either don't have the money or you don't have the friends or the relatives, one of the two. And his friendship is far more valuable to me because he's the only friend I keep in touch with from my high school days. And I've done well enough on my own that I didn't really need the money to take over his company. I don't really like what he does, but he hasn't stopped that. He's still running that company. Like, I don't know to what degree, or if he got somebody else to take over, the day-to-day operations, but he certainly focuses now just on like his movie making stuff and he got married at 50 years old and married a 25-year-old and had a baby. And okay. But he's one of those Rolling Stones. And it just like Rudy, those type of people, and I know others, I'm not going to go in great detail, but just kind of trying to outline. So he was working essentially 3 jobs before he retired. He retired from 1.5 of them, but still does the other one. The dude has always been, a 20-hour a day person, sleep 4 hours a day, and he's doing something industrious for the other, 20 hours every day. As a matter of fact, for our whole life, the 30 years keeping in touch with him, the biggest problem was when he would have, the young women with him, they hated that they didn't, he had the money, they had the money to spend, but they didn't have any of his time. He could never do anything with them. They're like, hey, let's go to Cabo San Lucas. And he's like, yeah, sure. Here's a credit card. Go. Like, I'm busy. And they, his relationships always suffered because of that. He couldn't have real relationships. That just most of the women needed more attention than what he could give them. And they didn't realize, fuck, I am a busy dude. I don't have the time for you. That's why I have the money to give you. And most of the people I know that are successful, and I know several very successful entrepreneurs personally, they're all those type of people. I've been asked to join businesses. I'm a fairly intelligent guy, I'm fairly educated, and have some skills. And I'm just, hell no, I'm not that driven. I don't do enough content for this channel, let alone wanting to run 20 hours a day. Fuck that. I'm not that guy. And that's what it generally takes. But what it means to your point, Matt, is it's not about money at some point. At some point for these people, and maybe it never has really been the money, it's about, can they do a thing? It's the challenge. Like, why does Elon Musk with billions of dollars keep working? The dude lives in trailers, eats like mac and cheese, wearing T-shirts, lives poor, not because he's being frugal, but just his mind is in a different place. And to him, life is the challenge of, can I go to Mars? Can I go to the moon? What can I do with my success? And these mega wealthy people, I hate to tell most people, for us, it's about the money. That's what we look at and ooh and ah, and what that means to us. For them, they could care less. Howard Hughes was a great example of that. If anybody wants to go out and watch movies and documentaries on that guy, it's not about the money. And I guess if you want to quote Forrest Gump, there's only so much money a man needs. The rest is just for showing off. But for really, truly successful people that I know, they're just driven. They're just wired differently, that they'll never stop working. They'll never stop having
factor. My limiting factor of making money is my motivation. Like I feel like I could do much more, but I just don't want to. Realistically, I have enough money. I'm happy enough that I'm just like, nah.
I love my chillax environment in my home. And I've had 2 ex-wives, so I know that what a more explosive home life is. I have, with Miss Sherry Vegas, we have a very, very calm, quiet house. We have good times. It's not like, a church where it's just quiet all the time, but it's not full of upset. We achieved enough success financially where we're not struggling over bills. We're not really worried about money. So we're in a fortunate part, and I'm at a point in my career where I'm making a lot more money, so we're not as worried about it. There is a point, I will admit that there is a point financially where you go from stressing about money to being in what I call the comfortable middle. And actually, there's a point way beyond that where money becomes the problem. The more money you have, I hate to tell you, when you start getting super rich, yeah, you also start getting super pursued and super sued and super questioning, like, who are your friends? Who can you trust? Because if you don't pay attention to large sums of money, even the government will come and get it from you. Right? You're always on high alert when you have massive amounts of money, because it could be taken away from you, and people will try. Your relatives, like, watch documentaries about people that have hit the lottery, how their relationships with all of their relatives and friends have changed. Even children, parents, children suing parents, parents suing children. ex-wives coming out of the woodwork to try to sue for some, girls trying to take advantage of you, guys trying to take advantage of you. It's just and a nonstop stream of people begging for your money. Like, it becomes a burden. I have enough money to be comfortable, but I don't have enough that people are really bugging me other than like junk mail and the, tele junk marketers. And
Scammers.
even like my mortgage company. Hey, you could cash out your equity. Hey, go F yourself. Hey, we'll open up more lines of credit to you. Hey, I don't want it. And I'm in a comfortable spot, and I would wish that everybody out there is in a comfortable spot. And I hope they're not in that first uncomfortable spot with not enough money for the essentials, or a shot at retirement, or having enough money for future health care, or having enough money to help their children in the future should they have that, or whatever they want to do with the money. Not having enough to hit that comfortable mark. I understand that. I spent most of my life there, and it's sad. I'm not a super genius, and I didn't make a ton of money to get out of that uncomfortable zone. You just have to make responsible choices and be financially aware. And unfortunately, the game behind me always has the shiny wrapper to be pulling money out of your wallet for something that doesn't lead to your financial security in the future.
I mean, it could help depending on the thing.
It can, but if you're not doing the proper planning outside of it, then it won't. Don't kid yourself.
It should be a secondary
Luxury.
or like if it happens, it happens. That's great.
Right. Exactly my point. And that's what I've been saying, for years. And that's the main point of even coming out on YouTube and trying to talk to folks, is to try to help wrap your heads around this. Because this is, just think about it. And I've said it so many times. For the people that actually buy Magic, what other hobby costs anywhere close to what you're spending on Magic? And people tend to only remember like, oh, I pulled that $100 card. But how much, like when I was talking, and I'm throwing, Prime Games under the bus here, he was so happy when he did a stream, and he's like, I'm getting $700, of store credit from Card Kingdom. But he sent in like 750 rares or something, or 350 rares, whatever it was. And there was this whole stack of like another 700 or 800 that he couldn't even send them. And I'm like, how much money did it cost you to get that $700 in credit?
Yeah, him and Pat was and other people that use Card Kingdom,
$4,000 was close to the amount that he spent to get that $750, right? And then people say, oh, well, but it's a hobby. But what other hobbies do you have that you spend that kind of money on?
Gotcha games. Those hobbies are expensive.
And that never pays back anything.
No, yeah, you get nothing. There's literally like it is burning money.
There are many ways to spend money foolishly. The way I spend it most foolishly, honestly, is eating out for convenience eating. Yeah. Now, you have to eat, but probably at least a 50% to 75% premium to do it, right? I could eat 50% to 75% cheaper cooking at home.
Easily, yeah.
I was surprised how low that margin actually was. I spent a lot more on Magic, especially this last year with Final Fantasy. That was like the biggest chunk of money I've probably ever spent on Magic. And I don't expect I'll ever do it again. Now, I bought everything at MSRP or below. So I'm fortunate in that for Final Fantasy. But even at that, at MSRP or below MSRP, I think I was close to $7,000, maybe a little more on Final Fantasy. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And even if Lorcana would have been keeping your interest, you would have probably spent more.
I never really intended to do more. I said it right from the outset. The first 4 sets, and I have the first 4 sets. I don't really have anything beyond that. And it's doing fairly well, and I don't care, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it. I had hoped that I would play it more than I do. I don't know where all that's going to go. But
Yeah.
I stopped at that, and all of the Lorcana that I bought was MSRP or below. I'm a big MSRP or below guy. So all these things that we're seeing now, no. And I worry for the Magic market that like it's going to hit. It feels like a night out of drinking is the best way I can kind of put it. Buying Magic in today's environment, we're all out at the club buying drinks and feeling great and all that stuff. And at some point, the hangover is going to come. The bill's going to come due, and the hangover is going to hit, and we're going to go, oh, that doesn't feel great. It's coming. I don't think it's here. Do I think this latest stock market downturn is going to be the catalyst for it? No, I don't think it'll be even that sudden. I think you'll have deflation. You'll see a gradual downturn overall. I wish there was like enough AI to look at like the meta finances for Magic overall of everything, card prices, sealed prices, what people generally pay everywhere to what things are worth, and track that on, like 2 lines, like a red and blue line, and see, because that's really what people look at, is not the price of something, but the difference of the price between what they pay and what it's worth. It's that gap in between that's the important piece of that, not necessarily even what you pay or necessarily what it's worth, but that gap, the margin, is really what it's worth. And I wish there was something that could gather enough data on all of it out there in the world and track it over time to see where your largest margins are and have been and traditionally tend to be. I think that would be an interesting thing to watch. The unfortunate part about that is WotC doesn't ever reveal its production numbers. Like, how many cars are made, what their costs are and all that kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, and it seems scummy, WotC doesn't share those numbers.
I saw something about taxes, the standard deduction being increased to combat inflation this year.
Yeah, but it's only dude, it's not much. It's like $500.
Oh, I thought it was from like 12,000. I thought I saw something from, or 12, was it 2,000? I don't know,
No, it's
whatever
12,000. It was like 12,500. You can look.
Okay, so the standard deduction 50, so it's increasing by 1,150.
Yeah.
So does that mean you get $1,000 extra?
No. Do you not know what the standard deduction means? So
I
let's
thought that
say
was like a
no.
tax break, basically.
Well, but let me tell you exactly how it works. So, that's the reduction of your taxable income. That's not an extra $1,000 return. That's a whole different thing. What it does is, let's say you made $100,000. Well, they're now saying, if last year it was 12,000, then you would say, oh, hey, only tax me on 88,000 of it. And
right.
Now what they're saying
so you're
is,
saving
now
the tax
me on
money on 1,000 more.
But you're not getting it's not dollar for dollar. It's just decreasing the total taxable amount. So in short, most people are going to get like a.
So single people, like it was 14,600, and now it's 15,750.
In real money, it's going to be more like about $220 difference, which isn't nothing, but it's not like if that changes your financial outlook, $220 over a whole year, it's going to be problematic. Now, for people that are really poor that make below 40,000, it'll be a bigger thing for them, right? To get back, more money, I guess. But you get back less money because your tax rate would only be what, like up to 40 something thousand. Your tax rate's only 12%, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So you're getting back $120, but $120 to somebody that only makes 38,000 is a much bigger deal than $220 to somebody who makes 100,000. Okay, cool. It's not the end all be all. The senior break is much bigger. It's like $6,000 or something.
So I
So
had
it's much bigger.
ChatGPT make a chart. I don't know where it got its data from, so this is just a funny little test of what it can do, I guess. It gave the examples of the data. So basically, it stated that the average spent for a bundle is $47. The average value is $42. The average spent for a collector box is $220. The average value is $256. The average commander deck is $41, and the average value is $41. So it's about break even. Draft booster box average spent is $103. Average value $90. Secret lair $50, average value 53, and set booster. Now, where it got its information from, it said I made two
This is
charts
probably
to show this
directionally.
concept. Average spend versus average collector, product type, individual items.
Can you do median rather than average? Averages are terrible because you throw all the good in with the bad and it can skew the numbers. Median is like typical. Like in order to get average, you'd have to buy everything all the time. And virtually nobody buys everything all the time.
I'm going to tell it to do over the last 7 years as well. So I said, can you do a median instead of average and make sure to use as much real data as possible over the last 7 years? We'll see how
that's
how it does.
interesting. I'm kind of cool. This is kind of cool that you're doing this. I like it. I dig it.
Yeah,
This would make a great
premium.
short, by the way. You might want to note the time on this. You know, and it's hey, here's something useful for AI folks, and people should be looking at it. Like the amount of money that we're talking about here, because nobody's spending $200 on, you know, like collector boxes. Sorry, that's not real.
So this is the interface that I'm using. I pay for the actual premium of ChatGPT 5 just because I use it so much.
I'd like to know what Pat does for his images because he's really gotten good and they're interesting. And even my mom commented on, she loved the thumbnail for the public one tonight. So that was kind of cool. Holy moly, man.
Well, let's search. It looks like it's searching like all kinds of different information. I like how it like shows you the steps that it's going through.
That's cool.
I can actually do that. Give more view here. Probably can do this.
Yeah, at some point, maybe cut like a chunk of this. Do the 3-minute shorts do better or worse than the 60-second shorts? Or are they all the same now?
I actually ran out of shorts. I need to do more. I don't know about the data behind the difference between the two.
So what you should do while
shorts like more than a minute, because there are times where the card has so many different avenues to talk about, and I feel like it's hard to. Whoa, what happened? Something went wrong with response. If this issue persists, please contact us. I've never seen this before.
Okay.
Retry.
Ooh.
Maybe I asked it to do too much.
Yeah, maybe cut down some of get rid of as much real data as possible, and maybe do last 5 years rather than 7. 7 is better in the financial world. Why? Told you tonight.
Yeah, because of the whole doubling thing.
Yeah, the rate of double.
This reason why I picked 7.
Yeah, so that you could kind of address this compared to like the stock market.
Yeah, it browses like different markets. There's a lot of different. I mean, he probably uses ChatGPT as well for the image generation. I've tried it a couple times for different things. I don't think I can go away from the tab without breaking it. But I've used ChatGPT for all kinds of different stuff for image generation. It's getting better, but it's difficult because it'll give I'll ask it to give me something, maybe like a thumbnail or whatever, and then it's close, but then there's like something wrong in the thumbnail. But I'm like, I want that exact thumbnail. I want you to change the word this to this, and then it'll give like the thumbnail, but it won't be anything close to what it was. So I was like, what? Why did you break it? Like, what happened? It's not the same. It's not even close. It's really annoying.
Well, I mean, certainly embracing AI is the right thing to do. It's clearly going to be a skill set, even if your job isn't specifically AI related. I think almost all jobs of any kind of intellectual property would be, or intellectual. Whoa.
All right,
Why
so
didn't
done. Switched to medians and grounded it in real sealed data box from TCG Player for the last 7 years. What I plotted, what spent, listed median, what sellers are asking, worth proxies, market recent seal. I aggregated several major sets per category, then took the median per category and showed both a bar chart and a product level scatter. Okay, so it lists like a bunch of different sources for different sets. So the quick takeaway: set and play box median listed, average 196 versus value, 158 running. So minus 90% versus buyer price. Collector boxes roughly 8% closer. So let's see here. What does this? Can I not open this in a new tab? Nope.
Shift right click.
But it's not like it. I don't think it's like an image like that. It's a funky one. I mean, I guess we can see it on there, but I can probably add to stage. That's not the right one. Remove from studio, add image file, this one, go. I mean, this is basically what it just stated, but what is this? So they're saying on average you're always spending more money
Not
on
average.
boxes than what it's worth. Well, a median.
But you have to understand the difference between averages and median. Averages just lumps everything in together and then divides, right? The median takes all of the products available, right? From the best ones to the worst ones, and picks the middle ground and says the typical, like right in the middle, what we often think of average as actually or we think of median as the average, meaning what is your typical experience going to be. This is much more representational of what your typical experience is when you buy without any other preferential filters. This is more what you can expect. Averages are spiky and they're skewed. It's like, for example, if you look at, like, we'll say retirement accounts, and they say that the average retirement account has $250,000 in it. Well, they're severely skewed because you could have, when we're talking about, let's say, 100 retirement accounts in there, retirement accounts 1 through 99, like the 99th one may only have $50,000 in it, but because you have one account in there that has $10 billion in it, the average for everybody in that list becomes 250,000. Well, that's not what the vast majority of people are going to have in their accounts. So they pick the median, the person at the 50th spot. What is their balance? And if the average was, say, 250,000, the median's more like 25,000. And that's more representational of the typical, or what we call average. We tend to confuse those terms, and that's why I wanted to look at the median. This is what you should expect when buying sealed products.
Yeah, you almost always lose if you. I wonder if there's a way to do have it calculate like how much the
EV.
basically the EV.
The problem is EV is not a widely shared number, right? It's not. There's not going to be data
It can
points
calculate how much the value of like the average. I don't know if it'll have the data to calculate, but it'd be interesting to see.
Right.
What it would say.
That's the problem, is you don't have the data to calculate it, right? And considering that the vast majority of boxes opened is not tracked. It's just not tracked. So you don't have a good sample size, so to speak. So this is about as good as you could get, right? This is what you really should expect. Now, if you look at like the typical index fund over the same period of time, you're going to see a completely opposite chart. And I don't know how better to like explain this to the audience. And that's why I keep saying this is truly a luxury. It's a hobby. Making money at it is the exception, not the rule. This is the rule, if you want to think of it that way. This is most frequently what you can expect on return rates when you're talking about buying and selling Magic product over time. You might get a winner here and there, but you got to also add in the losers.
That's funny. I asked her to give a guesstimated value of play boxes over the course of 7 years. What would be the total value gained or lost? It guesstimates that over 7 years, you would either lose 20% or gain 25%.
Which would be terrible in both cases.
If you
The
put them
losing is
at
always more.
MSRP is what I specifically told it that to use
Sure.
MSRP. I told it that you won't have 7 years of data because play boosters aren't 7 years old, but to use as much data as you have now and then extrapolate that over 7 years, and that's just what it gained, what it guessed.
And what it's, I can guarantee you, what it's also not throwing in there because it's not in effect yet and it hasn't happened, and you won't have this data anyways, even if it does, when it does happen, and that's the taxes on it. The 1099s, it's not going to add that in.
I'm going to ask it, does this data include seller fees for getting rid of the product?
You'd have to include seller fees, sales taxes, and 1099 income taxes. Because it's not in place yet, right? They're only looking at like the values on TCG Player.
Okay, it's going. It's spitting out a bunch of shit. Let's see here.
We'll share it. This is interesting stuff to watch.
There
There should be a couple of shorts in there that you could get some juicy shit, dude. I'd be very curious to see you spit out some shorts from this.
So most players pay between 6 and 9% sales tax. That makes sense, and then it gives seller fees of 13 to 15%. Depending on the product, this is actually wrong. I've had less than 13%, and I don't know why. But
it's going to be something.
It seems like the less percentage. But either way, it's better to overestimate than underestimate. eBay is 12 to 15%, makes sense. Whatnot, don't know what those are. I mean, I know what they are, but apparently it's 10%. Short-term capital gains, depending on, I guess, as long as you held it. I don't know. Does this actually count? I don't think this counts.
Oh, maybe they are doing this as capital gains. I'd have to think about that. The problem is, in order to even show all this stuff, like to not get charged the full amount, you'd have to show your purchase price on every single one and itemize that for the IRS.
So what is it stating? It says, let's run the earlier 7-year play and hold an example with fees. Okay, so... Okay, here we go. So annualize, so let's see here, profit loss in... So if you were to buy a box and then resell it at MSRP, you're going to lose $50. Great.
Yeah.
If you were to sell it in...
Wait, and it went up 20%.
So I guess these are all examples of 20%. Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's saying if it were doubled in price in 7 years and you sold it, you would only gain about a 9% year over year, or percentage per year. Yeah. This isn't bad, but this is like this example here is I don't think it's
that's not. But that doesn't. Now you've missed out on the opportunity cost of compounding, right?
So that means that typically you need a box of double just to approach a high single-digit annualized return once you account for all real-world frictions.
And that's an annualized return.
I like that. I like that word. That terminology.
It doesn't include the opportunity cost of compounding.
Also, this here as well, storage/time cost, additional hidden drag. That's a good way to put it as well.
Dude, there's so much good shit here. Like,
So typical movement, -3% to 3% year over year.
there you go.
Now,
ROI,
now,
baby.
now I want to do this. Run this exact
Hold on, stop. You missed a great,
simulation.
a very important part. The net realistic ROI on MSRP Play Booster boxes, 7-year hold, roughly -2% to 3% per year.
That's what I just said. I read this is that. That's what this one is.
No, that's typical market movement. I'm talking about net realistic ROI with a 7-year hold. Okay, and I bet that this is off by a bit, but it's directionally correct.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how different the collector box situation is. Uh-huh.
Wow. Now you're getting out of my league.
So your net cash when you exit is 377, having spent 321. The total return factor is 1.176 over 7 years is 3.3% annually. Why is it not giving? Jesus Christ! Why is it not giving the same chart? I want the same chart. Give me the chart.
Because you asked it different questions.
No, I said run the. What I told it is run the exact simulation but on collector boxes for MTG, and then it didn't do the exact simulation. It did a completely different simulation. If it was exact, it would do this. This is what I mean about ChatGPT is or really any AI model is it doesn't understand
what you want.
The request of the user, and it does this with coding. It does this with images. It does this.
Yes,
like
I
I
agree.
say the exact, and the word exact is defined. Like it can't. It didn't do exactly the same thing. It did its own thing, its own interpretation. Now it's making charts, and it didn't have those charts.
Yes. Oh, you said I want the same chart.
Well, yeah, but this is the chart. Where'd it go? Yeah, this is the chart that I want, but it didn't do this. I guess I should say step 4 of the play boosters. Like what is this? What are these? I can't. These don't do anything. What are these? Here's a collector version of the chart, same format as the play booster ones. I don't understand what.
Well, I don't know. Can you click on something there? Will it expand if you click on any of the symbols or?
Oh, I'm clicking. Nothing. Click. Nothing.
All right. Well, let's just go look at the raw numbers then. I like how it says median net return after all costs -3.4% total.
Which is wrong because collector boosters have significantly increased. I wonder if they're having a high amount of traffic today because I've never seen it air like that before. Either that or I'm asking it to like compute too much shit at once or something. I don't know.
I have no idea, man.
Here we go. Well, kind of. All right. So what is it saying here? So it looks worse, which is not correct. Collector boxes have outperformed play boxes in every category. This is wrong. This is trying to say it's less profitable.
I think that that's potentially true. Because I think you're cherry picking some of them.
Cost is more, so I guess it's possible that I've just been lucky with the couple of products that I've bought. But I've bought every single play booster.
Nope, you haven't.
What don't I have?
Do you have Commander Legends?
Yeah.
You have Commander Legends?
Wait, I have Commander Legends Baldur's Gate.
No, I'm talking about Commander Legends. Do you have Core 2021?
So I guess
Arrows Beyond?
Whatever that year
Throne of Eldraine? Strixhaven?
I think I have Strixhaven. Maybe not. What's the first collector box they ever introduced?
The Throne of Eldraine.
All right, let's. So I have a total. How many collector boxes do I have? Is there not a way to like see number? How many? How many is this? I don't want to fucking count. Just tell me.
You got Pabo.
All will be one. See, are there any losses? Yes, Spider-Man, but that's, you know.
But you're looking at it without all of the other ancillary stuff, which is what I'm
Is
talking
Midnight
about.
Hunt still 185?
Yeah, they're fucking garbage.
Might have to buy a case of this.
Go for it.
Although my case of Dominaria United isn't. I mean, it's just flat. It hasn't lost any money, but
Which means it's lost money.
Yeah. He's double mastered.
Remember, it showed you what you had to do to even make any
I
kind
guess in
of.
order to break even, all of these are I guess all of these are considered losses. It has to double in money in order to make the 8%.
That was what I was saying before. Like, and not only
Which
that,
is funny because it's stating that the Final Fantasies are technically still a loss. But if I were to sell right now, I would be gaining money. But it wouldn't be the same 7-year situation. It'd be short-term gains.
And you can't just cherry pick the winners, right? You'd have to sell off the other ones that you're at a loss, like the Dominaria. And like I said, with all the fees and everything else associated with it, and the 15% long-term capital gain, as long as you held it for more than a year, I mean, you're looking at all the ones that are losers as well. This is what people. That's what I'm saying. Like, people selectively pick the data that they like, just like I was pointing out with Prime when he was like, "Man, look at this, $750." And I'm like, "And how much did it cost you to make the $750?" Well, I don't want to talk about that. It's like, well, you kind of have to. And I only used like MSRP, and many of the ones that he was selling, he bought through rip and ships, which are always overpriced. Like, you're paying a super premium. You're paying more per pack, plus you're paying for individual shipping of those packs. And now you got to pay shipping again to send it out. Like, Jesus. And then they say some stupid shit like, "Oh, well, but they would just be sitting here doing nothing." I'm like, but if you hadn't bought them in the first place and had invested in the stock market, you'd be way ahead of where you are. And if you held on to that for 20 years because you're all in your 30s, that shit could turn into $100,000+, which is more than the average person has in the typical person has in their retirement account at all. People are bad at holding money. People are bad financially, just period.
Well, you know, it's something that I've had to learn over the course of many years.
And I hope that I'm having a positive influence and at least shining a light on some of it for you, being a friend of yours and a channel partner, that, okay, really look at the numbers and don't just look at the positive aspects. You have to, and I'm not saying be negative Nancy. I'm saying look at all the numbers. Look at that in, I didn't influence ChatGPT there, right? You're asking realistic things. I'm not like, look at the worst case scenario, right? And I bet it would look even worse if you just excluded 2 collector boxes. If you just excluded the Lord of the Rings Winter Edition collector box and the Fallout collector boxes. If you just tell it to run the same numbers minus those 2 collector boxes. So like if you didn't buy in on those 2 sets, and I'll bet you these numbers will look drastically worse.
I'm trying something.
Sure.
I exported my entire inventory, which currently says its low value is worth 26,000. I want to have it project its value over the course. Can you project the total value of this Excel sheet over the course of 7 years using the data we have for growth of seal product and include
Dude, you're just bound and determined to break Chat GPT, aren't you?
Oh my god, typing's hard. Friction costs. All right, let's see if it can see if it can really break it. And what is this? I actually haven't looked at what this looks like.
Well, we can't see because you're in micro mini mode there.
Yeah, because of the see. Oh, so that's why. So these, I'm assuming if I go like this. Oh, so it does have those. It had the charts, but for some reason, when it's in the smaller mode, it doesn't.
Anomaly. Is that the collector boxes?
Yeah. So let me say, while it's thinking, I'm gonna save. Why does it keep labeling it output 6? Collector PNG. So now I should be able to add it to stage. So this is the collector one that it was trying to say earlier. Which I love
Like I said,
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's definitely an outlier.
Yeah, and you in all good data sets, you need to remove the outliers, the absolute best and the absolute worst.
So Modern Warfare 3 was a slight net profit after all costs. March of the Machines is doing pretty decent. Pawbo is pretty good, almost double. Commander Masters is a loss. Wilds of Eldraine is a loss, which I don't think that's true because Wilds of Eldraine just jumped in price. It's like right now it's 186 of the values, percent of the value, so that's just wrong. And Outlaws of Thunder Junction is probably true. It's not doing too good. All right, did it project anything?
Yeah, but what's crazy is you don't even have like a good chunk of them in there.
It says it looks like your uploaded Echo MTG CSV doesn't include any valid numeric total value field. Every column that looked like a value contained a text, dashes, or blanks instead of numbers. So the computed total portfolio value came out as 0. To fix this, I need to know which column in your sheet actually represents your collection's current value. For example, something like total value TCG low. I don't know. I gotta look at the I gotta look at the spreadsheet now because I don't know what it did.
Well, we ought to do a whole episode on this. Maybe not so much live. Maybe you and I could do it together and kind of craft it and then clip out some of the good stuff. But I think for our friends tonight, we should probably start wrapping it up here. Interesting stuff. Interesting AI interactions here, and it can't hurt you to try to do some of this due diligence with your own money. But I believe that when you look at things overall, you're going to be surprised if you dispassionately don't cherry pick and only look at the winners, right? Or the losers. Like you got to look at the median is the best way to go with almost any data set. So at any rate, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I need to go get some food. I'm old and fat and tired and hungry. So again, appreciate all of our members here that are with us. I seriously mean that. Thank you very much for your contribution and support that you give us. And for those of you catching this later down the road, hopefully there's some interesting stuff here and you can skip and go back and look at some of the relevant stuff. But as always, I'm always preaching financial responsibility in the hobby because it is a non-trivial amount of money that we all spend on this hobby. So I wish everybody a good night. Hopefully we'll have Pat with us next week. Check out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. And for those of the Game Piece Army that want flesh and blood stuff at a much cheaper price, Hey, I guess good stuff coming your way. Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
And we'll see with these reprints. Like Matt said, hey, don't forget what the 13th. That's Monday, right? Some secret lair drops that have some potential value if you want to try to throw the dice with that, or if you just want what's in there.
I broke it again. This is network connection lost. Attempting to reconnect.
We don't like you tonight. Stop asking such pesky questions with complicated rules.
I did tell it to use the TCG ID and look up every single product on that Excel sheet. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's asking too much.
But I'm going to call it a night here, folks. Thanks again. We will see you next Saturday at 7 p.m. for Cardboard Conversations.
Yep. See you guys later. I'm gonna get some food.
Peace.